Also recall this. This was a headline from earlier this year: high cost of feed killing Indian poultry industry. Now this is a little bit old, but this was at the peak of, say, prices. And during that point in time, soybean meal price increased 78% in a little over a month and a half. And my team and I, as we travel not only here in India but throughout Southeast Asia, we've heard from our colleagues and customers about this. It's not only you that are suffering through the soybean meal price increase, but really the whole world. And it created an opportunity to look at alternatives. Dr. Leeson this morning said that there are no new alternatives, and I generally agree with that. There are a few ingredients maybe that he didn't have listed that are specific to Southeast Asia and to the subcontinent that we don't see where I'm from in North America. That being said, it is very much about getting the nutrients from those ingredients, whatever those ingredients we choose to use are. He is absolutely right to say that ingredients don't matter, it's the nutrients. And that is, I couldn't agree with that more, and a very simple statement that I've been trying to find for years, and once again Dr. Leeson enlightens me. Well, the industry itself, and not only here in India, but generally all over, we still see quite often that we formulate diets, or we have diets where there are minimum constraints on crude protein. Crude protein is not a nutrient per se, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But why would we have those constraints? In many cases, it's government regulations. There are still requirements that say the feed has to contain, if sold on a commercial basis, the feed has to contain a certain % crude protein. The rationale of that is crude protein was one of the parameters that was relatively easy to measure. And so it was a good way for them to regulate the quality of feed. However, I want to quickly point out that crude protein never has and never will be an indication of the quality of a feed. And so if it's used as simply a guideline, that's okay. But to dictate that should indicate some adequacy in terms of nutrients would not be correct. There's also, not only here, but really everywhere, generally a lack of confidence, generally due to our lack of knowledge or information about amino acid requirements, about nutrient requirements, about digestibility of nutrients in certain ingredients. And all of that, say, limits us in what we can potentially do. And we address that through our formulations, through safety margins, etc.